What if I told you that some of the things that happen to you as a baby are affecting the way you relate to people and how you actually experience life? Have you ever noticed that there are certain things that if you see them happening, you immediately get triggered? Maybe, like me, anytime I see somebody fighting or quarreling a woman, immediately I get triggered. Anytime I see a child being beaten, I get triggered. And in more than 2 occasions, I've actually found myself fighting with a woman for beating her own child. And then I used to ask myself, why am I experiencing this thing? At some point, I used to think maybe I have compassion towards children. But then, as I kept looking in, I realized there's a concept called shadow work and inner healing that I needed to do. Because the beating of the child or the quarreling of a man to the wife reminded me of what my father used to do to my mother. And so I realized there was actually a part of me that needed healing. Welcome to King Reynard Podcast, where we educate, elevate, and inspire you to greatness. On this episode, I want to explore the concept of inner healing through shadow work. And I believe that this content is going to change your life forever. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at King Reynard Podcast and watch this video till the end, because maybe the last point I'm going to say will be what you're looking for to change your life forever. Now, so many people have, especially ladies, have gone through traumatic experiences such as you were raped as a baby, you got molested, or maybe you were beaten as a boy and you went through a very traumatic life growing up. And you grew up, and when you got to the ages of reason, you actually thought you had completely dealt with this and you thought that you are actually okay. But here is the problem though. That kind of thinking that you're okay without dealing with the wounds that you nurtured as a baby brings out a concept called repression. So you actually did not deal with the pain, you just repressed the pain, and so you get yourself wondering, why is it that this issue and this issue triggers me? Let me tell you a problem with this. That if you don't deal with the childhood traumas and the pain and the wounds that were caused to you as a baby, it will affect your relationships. It will affect your love life. And even the way you experience money will be affected in a great way. So you have to deal with these wounds. And it's a very important thing, because if you don't deal with the wounds of your past, you will live the rest of your life thinking and feeling that everything is okay, but you keep struggling. If you have the following 3 traits, then you need inner healing. Number 1, you get easily triggered and emotionally disturbed whenever something that happened to you when you are young. So let's say, for example, you were beaten as a baby. I was raped as a baby when I was about 3 or 4 years old by a very old lady who caused me to do very bad things. You know, as a young child, she actually caused me to CJ her. The smell of that thing remained in my nose for 15 years. I deleted it out of my mind 15 years later. You know, at some point I thought, why is it that I don't find it easy to relate to women? Number 2, my sexuality was very weird. I didn't like it any moment I saw a woman trying to be aggressive. If a woman, for example, we want to have an intercourse and she tries to hold me and tries to, dominate me, I get turned off immediately. And I used to wonder, what's really happening? What's my problem? And I loved it whenever I do domineering kind of sex. Then it came to me as I learned the concept of inner healing, that the reason I was experiencing this was because I had a wound Somebody dominated me as a baby. And every time a woman wants to express her sexuality through dominance, it reminds me of what I went through as a baby. Could that be the same experience you had? So if you get triggered every time something happens, then the chances that you are actually experiencing childhood wounds is very high. Number two, if you're molested or raped as a child, you realize that when you get to a place where you want to have sexual intercourse with your partner, what happens is that you immediately get turned off. Why? Because your mind gets back to replay the episode of you being raped or being molested. And so this will affect your sex life. You realize you don't like sex. And I want to give this disclaimer. Sex is a very, very interesting and pleasurable experience. And if you are having things like pain while having sex, then chances are you have an inner healing to do. And so the third sign that you're actually having this kind of that you need to undergo inner healing is that you struggle financially. And I'm sorry to say this because this is a very deep topic. Poverty stems from from childhood wounds and experiences we had. If your parents constantly told you, we don't have money, we can't afford that. No, that's not for us. They are the rich, we are the poor. And then you grow up knowing that there are certain people called the rich and the poor. A child won't know that unless they are told. So if you watch your parents struggling financially, they could not put food on table, you watch them fighting because of anything that required money, then that would actually form the frame of understanding that you now experience life with. And so if you have those three particular signs, then chances are you need inner healing. What is inner healing then? Inner healing means going back to the childhood experience and dealing with it at that particular position. What did I have to do? I had to get to the place at the age of 19 where I literally had to go back to when I was raped as a 3-year-old and literally be in that particular circumstance, watch this lady do it, and I watched the child, the 4-year-old me, being molested, having no strength to say no, crying about, trying to resist, but then eventually, having looked at that experience, I forgave my childhood self, forgave this woman, and came back to the reality of my experience. So what I did literally was to go back and forgive this woman. And for some of you, chances are you'll need to go back and forgive the people who molested you. Literally, you just pick your phone and call them and tell them, hey bro, you did this and this and this to me. I've not called you to condemn you. I've called you to say, I forgive you. Even if they don't say sorry. Because for inner healing to happen, you have to learn to forgive. You have to learn to forgive not just yourself, but the people who hurt you. The second thing I've learned in order to deal with these childhood wounds is you have to talk to yourself in the mirror. Have conversations in the mirror. I used to go, when I was dealing with all this trauma, I used to look at myself in the mirror and literally I told myself, that younger version of me, I told him, Reynard, listen to me. You are now an old guy. You've gone through life. You've experienced everything. And guess what? You've turned out to be an extremely amazing human being. I told myself good things. I literally expressed the reality of the goodness that I am. Because in as much as I was raped as a baby, in as much as I was raped at my 16th birthday, I could go back and become the person that I've become. And so telling that to yourself would actually trigger an emotional growth. The third thing that is very important for you to do is called somatic experience. Things like dealing with your breathing patterns. Because some of the reasons as to why you sleep while your mouth is open, actually funny, is that you have triggers about your past. So you don't enjoy your sleep. Things like insomnia are not just diseases that started yesterday. Things like, how do we call it? Is it groaning when you're sleeping? Kungorota. Is it groaning, right? So things like that. Did you know that those are signs that you have things you need to deal with? Smelling mouth. Mdomo ikinuka. That's a sign. Smelling food. Those are signs that you need to do inner child healing. And so what I did, I started working on my breath. So I have this practice where after every 1 hour, I've set an alarm in my watch so that I get back to consciousness. So my alarm will go on, or will go off, and I will close my eyes and take a deep breath and just remind myself that I'm alive. All right? So you have to do things like breath work. You have to learn how to balance your breath. Number 3, because listen, what's worse? Dealing with this thing at the core or letting it affect the way you relate, not just with yourself, but with the rest of the others. The third thing that is very important, and this I do a lot, is I affirm myself. When was the last time you just told yourself you're good enough? There are people I meet and immediately I know that they're suffering from traumatic childhood disorder. One of the things that gets me to know that, if you're very defensive, there's this group of people that any kind of negative word you tell them is a trigger. And they will defend it. They will defend themselves with all the strength that they can muzzle. That's a sign that you're actually having inner childhood disorder. So what you need to do is to learn to control your breath, number 1. Number 2, affirm yourself. Very important. The mirror effect. Go to the mirror. Speak to yourself. Number 3, this is weird, but it works. Look for clothes that fit you well. As a child, and I'm sorry to say this, if you're the type that loves bigger clothes that covers your body, do you know that that's a sign that you're actually having problems with your past? Because you've not accepted your body as it is. The ladies you meet, they're very beautiful curves. They have very beautiful boobs. But then these ladies cannot be in a position to dress anything that holds them well. Why? Because they are afraid that someone will be triggered by their shape and rape them. Where did that stem from? Experience as a baby. So here is my thought. I want you to get back to yourself, because there's only one person you need. It's not everybody. You need yourself. If you're going to get to the next level of your life, you need yourself. And then the next other version of you that is yearning for expression cannot be achieved until you heal your past, heal your wounds, and accept the reality of who you are. You've made it this far because maybe this content relates to you and you want to just experience life. I have decided, because I got help for free, I am going to offer an opportunity for you watching me to go through a 21-day inner healing experience for free. So you can do me a favor. Just go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and then go to TikTok, follow us. Go to Instagram, follow us at King Reynard Podcast. You can also come to my own personal account at King Reynard the Teller. Then what you do, just inbox me and tell me you need help. For the men who have to date several people, did you know that the experience is because you have an inner child problem? If you have to prove your manhood by dating several women, is because you believe you're not man enough, so you need to prove it. And the proving is a sign that you are not brought up well. You did not go through the stages of growth satisfactorily. So as a man, if you find yourself having to be distracted by so many women and you need to date this, chances are you need inner healing. And healing is a very important aspect. Before you heal your past wounds, you cannot grow to the next level. And the universe will make you repeat the same class until you get to the place where you've performed well and now you can be promoted. So I want you to just go ahead and inbox me. Talk to us. Let's hear you. I will take you through the 21 days, or both virtual or physical, depending on where you are, all through until you experience total healing. Because if you don't heal your inner child, chances are that you will never experience life as the authentic self that you're supposed to be. And I believe you need it. And if this video has been any useful to you, I would ask you to share, because anytime you subscribe and share our videos, you help us grow, and you help us help so many people learn through our experiences. So I want you to go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms. And please get back to yourself. Fall in love with yourself. Affirm yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you know what? You are pretty. You are wonderful. You're amazing. You're a strong man. You're capable. You can fight anything that life brings to you. Because the truth of the matter is, yes, you can. And until next time, cheers.